Okay, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Rod Haugabrooks. I started my career in 1992, where I was purchasing residential real estate until 2002. I bought and sold over 1,000 homes. During that whole experience, to facilitate those transactions, I owned a licensed mortgage branch, worked in a title company, and got my real estate license. Towards the end of that time, I bought a Homevestors franchise. Homevestors was an innovative company, way beyond its time, led by Ken D'Angelo, who revolutionized the way that real estate was done at the time. The branch enabled a person through his innovative system to be able to sell a home in a couple of days, instead of weeks. This will be relevant as it influenced the way I plan to structure the current business. In 2002, if any of you remember, we had just come off 9/11. The equities market had imploded and a lot of money flowed into real estate. The Fed lowered interest rates, which dropped mortgage rates to historical lows. The real estate market, in turn, started to heat up. So, for me, as a real estate investor, it was disastrous. My strategy had always been to forecast the after-repair value, which allowed me to know how much to pay for a property. In 2000, it turned from investing in real estate into pure speculation. People were betting on 50% appreciation in 3 to 6 months. I didn't understand it, so I got out. A natural thing for me to get into was real estate appraising. So in 2002, I began my career as an independent fee real estate appraiser between 2002 and 2008. 2008, for those who remember, there was a bit of market turmoil. Whatever you were doing in real estate as a profession abruptly stopped, and so after being tormented for a few years, in 2011, I started to work for a real estate fund. Hedge funds around that time were gobbling up real estate. Anything below replacement cost, they were buying. It became necessary to open an operating company to speed up transactions. ROI Home Services. In 2011, I founded ROI Homes, Inspect and Appraise. I was already an appraiser and home inspector, so I was able to bring that skill to the operating company, title company. I was able to become a partner with a title company, design and construction. My wife was a designer, and we opened a construction division. Project management. Project management and property management, a central piece of the operation. Marketing, in-house administration, and marketing staff. Legal. We had a close partnership with a local attorney. With these skills, the operating company was able to effectively facilitate the acquisition and disposition of assets for the fund. The two worked hand in hand for other funds as well, like Blackstone with Invitation Homes. The market heated up in 2014, and the fund I worked for started to move out of the single-family residential space. I shifted back into performing real estate appraisal services primarily. Let's look at the core business model and how we take the vision of the future and turn it into reality. The entities that formulate the base of the business model are first the operating company, which currently exists, ROI Home Services. ROI Home Services primarily provides hundreds of thousands of dollars in inspection and appraisal services to the mortgage market, homeowners, and the RE investment community. Real Estate Fund. The second entity that's required is a real estate fund. The purpose of the fund will be to acquire, rent, tokenize, and sell real estate, generating an internal rate of return between 20 and 40%. Initially, the fund will focus primarily on ground-up and fix-and-flip projects, yielding 10 to 20% profit within 3 to 5 months of holding time. The two entities work together hand in hand to help acquire and disposition assets of the fund within days instead of weeks. Not going to get into the details of a 3-day closing here, but with these two entities, magic happens. This model would be profitable with just the two entities working with each other, but as an added benefit, these services can continue to be sold to the public. With all these skills under one roof, Innovative solutions can be offered to the public that aren't widely being offered anywhere else. Bundling of services can provide a faster and cheaper solution to our real estate investment community at a fraction of the price of a traditional brokerage. Homeowners with special needs, such as PMI removal or partial releases, can benefit from a bundle of appraisal, legal, title, and project management to quickly and effectively render their desired result. There's not many out there doing this right now. We are bundling some of these services currently, but I have been waiting to launch a fund at the right time so that the fund can provide a steady source of work to support a dedicated staff and to provide funding for marketing to promote the products, as it will take time to penetrate the market. Let's take it up a notch. Millionaires are made during recessions, and that could be changed to trillionaires in the next decade. Suppose we direct our advertisement towards distressed sellers. If you were around in 2008, doesn't it kind of feel like 2007? Things slowing down. We are moving, but a bit sluggish. I believe the market right now is under pressure, with rising debt levels, high interest rates, stagnant sales, and in some areas declining values. When the market is under pressure, acres of diamonds are there for discovery for our real estate fund. Absolutely nothing to fear if you have this set up. The most spectacular deals that you can ever imagine are made. During turmoil, the market is under pressure. You can get spectacular deals for the real estate fund. I'll give you an example. Let's just say we cater to distressed homeowners, and we're genuinely trying to provide a service for this individual. Our agents are generally trying to provide a service to the person. Most of the time, people in distress are targeted by investors, and they make the owners feel as if they are being preyed upon. All they want to do is buy their house. They're not trying to help them out where our agents come with the approach that they are generally trying to provide a solution. They don't directly represent the fund. The fund may come off as a vulture if they engage them directly. ROI Home Services acts as a firewall between both entities. This person is just trying to help them. Sometimes it's impossible to get an audience with this person if we were not generally trying to do something to help them. We're client-centric. We're trying to figure out the best thing for the client. So, if the client gets ahead by us working out a solution, then great. We'll take our fee and continue. But I'm going to say that probably 50 to 70% of the people who are in a distress situation, the only solution is to sell the property. If they need liquidity, the best thing that you can do at that point is to immediately have a cash buyer in the wings. With the fund and operating company working together, the representatives will always have access to liquidity. So let's give an example. So let's say we go out and determine that the house is worth $500,000, as is right now. They have a first mortgage of $300,000, a second mortgage of $200,000, and let's say they have liens and encumbrances of $200,000. Maybe they have some code enforcement liens, or maybe they have judgments against them. Sometimes you have to work out a mess when you're dealing with people who are in distress. So the home cannot be sold for $500,000 because the encumbrances are more than the market value. The best thing to do in this situation is to get an immediate cash offer and negotiate down the liens. Domus could provide an immediate offer for, let's say, $400,000. Our legal, title, and project management team work immediately to start negotiating down the debt. Let's say that the second mortgage could be negotiated down to $70,000. This is a possibility if they are not aggressively defending their position during the foreclosure. They may calculate that taking $70,000 would be better than paying off the first mortgage and taking on the responsibility of the home, which may be in worse shape, say a year later, after the owner leaves the property and possibly sitting empty for months. The other encumbrances can generally be released for pennies on the dollar. It is very possible that the property could be negotiated down to $400,000, including settlement costs and fees to ROI Home Services. Domus could renovate the home for, let's say, $100,000, and after repair the value of $700,000. Domus could complete the renovation or tap into the RE investment community and sell the property for its as-is value of $500,000 for an immediate 25% return in days. Wholesaling kicks up returns exponentially. This kind of deal could not be done without the synergy between the two companies that would not be available any other way. Now you might ask, if this is such a great model, why aren't you doing this currently? Why are you only doing appraisals and inspections? The answer is that working capital is needed to get these types of transactions. You need some capital that backstops ROI Home Services because some of the best deals in the world take time. You have to be able to create a pipeline of deals. It could take 3 to 6 months to work out and unravel the mess the owner has made. ROI Home Services needs a cash buyer and working capital. The two working together can navigate almost any economic environment. During a downturn, the operating company can be directed to harvest deals for the fund at rock-bottom prices. Other completely operational companies may be forced to lay off key workers, while this synergy keeps core employees intact and may even add talented workers to help in the grind to discover discounted assets. As I said, it feels like 2007. The fund could be positioned to acquire incredible deals during a time of turmoil. During a more balanced market, the fund will have a balance of deals that are reasonable, and the operating company will have a steady flow of income coming in from general sales to the market. Once the market heats up, the fund can capitalize by selling previously purchased assets at a premium and regain its dry powder for the next downturn. The operating company, now being higher in demand, will operate at peak revenue and profitability, further positioning itself to be able to prosper during the downturn and repeat. My goal is to have a floor and maintain an operating strategy that first and foremost preserves capital and second to position itself for large windfall profits. How do we get to the next level? How do we formulate the next trillion-dollar entity? 15 to 20% of the fund will be invested in artificial intelligence and blockchain technology to augment the standard operating procedures and move those services on the blockchain. These investments will have a dual purpose. One, it will internally help the operating company execute services for the fund faster and cheaper. Second, the investment will be used to build the Domus system that will be utilized in mobilizing $400 trillion in real estate capital worldwide. The reason I want to keep the tech investments at the 15 to 20% level is because, if you remember, each asset purchased will have a 10 to 20% margin of profit. So at the end of the fund, if there was no market adoption of the Domus technology, the fund could recover its initial investment within a year and still return principal and a profit. Domus chain. Here is what we need to do. We're going to create a proprietary chain called Domus chain. There are a few different components. Digital ID. The first thing needed is to create an ID for buyers and sellers that stores information and a digital wallet to store assets on-chain. Second, you have to develop a non-fungible representation of the real property on-chain. Domus deed. Domus deed will store all of the property records, like the maintenance records, the chain of title, inspection reports, and any data related to the tokenized asset. Appraisal APP. We already have an appraisal firm. We will take the standard operating procedures and create an automated valuation model, which is going to be revolutionary. The benefit of this is going to be big. I've looked at a lot of the automated valuation software out there, and the problem is that they generate values based on different algorithms than traditional appraisers. What most of them do is look at the problem of solving the value in a way they think is best. For example, an appraiser generates their market value based on 3 to 6 comps. I've seen companies that will look at 300 and think it is better, so their model will be skewed and differ from a typical appraised value. I looked at Zillow's job page and saw no appraisers for hire, and they are generating values on residential properties. One might wonder why they lost $880 million in forecasting the price of homes they purchased. Many to their peril ignore the 800-pound gorilla in the room, which is Fannie Mae. It's about as bad as ignoring the Fed in financial markets. If you want to sell a house in this country, it needs to be based on market value that is in line with Fannie and Freddie. Fannie and Freddie dictate how market value is determined. They dictate it to the appraiser, and the appraiser provides it on a Fannie Mae report. 90% of appraisals that are done on a Fannie and Freddie report. So if you're not creating a model that's based on what Fannie and Freddie guidelines dictate, then you're not going to be very successful in valuing properties that sell. This is common among most AVMs. They are not bridging the gap between their AVM and the 800-pound gorilla. They want the gorilla to come to them, but an 800-pound gorilla is probably not going to move on someone else's terms. Our appraisal app and ROI Home Services will be a bridge between real-world investors like Fannie and Freddie and the digital world. You've got to have a bridge between your automated valuation and reality. I'm an appraiser, and I've been able to create a business where a bulk of the valuation process is done by staff. I've trained staff. I'm going to take that same training and train it to an AI model. It can be trained and it can be automated. The entire process can be done in seconds. I've broken it down. I've taught it to people all across the world, and we sell hundreds of thousands of dollars of this every single year. So we can take what we know from ROI Home Services and move it to the cloud and on-chain. This is really key. This is the key to unlocking value everywhere, as that number is needed by everyone. People can't make a decision if they don't know what the value is. How can I give you a mortgage if I cannot generate a reliable value? Usually, we loan a percentage of the collateral like 55%, 65%, etc. That value has to be able to be generated immediately. So that means all of the standard operating procedures that we use have to be automated and put into the system. This is going to open up everything else. This is going to help unlock the mortgage on-chain. Horizon I. Now let me step back just a moment. In order to get automated valuations, you're going to need to be able to inspect the property in real time. This is the biggest hang-up in the industry and keeps appraisers employed. If you produce a digital representation of the property in real time on-chain, this will solve the inspection problem. This can be done through digital twin technology. With a real-time digital representation of the property, the algorithms can immediately be able to generate a value. In order to do this, we will need to install 3D rendering equipment that can help create a 3D digital representation. We need to build a 3D camera system, our proprietary camera system. We're going to call that Horizon I, Horizon Core. For Horizon I to operate, the data from the cameras has to be processed locally, and then it has to be communicated on-chain. So to make that connection, you have to have a central processing unit in every single property that connects on-chain. This is what we call Horizon Core, Horizon New and Existing IntelliHome. Horizon Core, Horizon I. Domus Deed and Domus ID combined with standard smart home technology, and now you've created an intelligent home. Not only will we be finding fantastic deals and selling them at a profit, but our value add is the houses will not just be normal homes. They will be Horizon IntelliHomes equipped with Horizon Core, Horizon I, Domus Deed, Domus ID, and with our operating company, we will start to generate the apps that will be able to power transactions on-chain. Mortgage app. The appraisal app, by analyzing digital representation, can appraise the home instantly. The mortgage app can now underwrite the transaction with an appraisal in hand. The borrower, who has created a digital ID with all their qualifying information, can connect with the mortgage app. The mortgage app can instantly underwrite the borrower's assets, the borrower's liabilities, and their credit is connected. Everything is connected, so instant underwriting and funding can be done based on the information stored in Domus ID and Domus Deed. Insurance APP. Also, with a digital representation of the home on-chain, the insurance app can instantly bind coverage. Now instantly, our buyer John can walk into a property, see immediately their financing options, choose an offer price and down payment. the transaction is automatically processed on-chain and able to close the transaction instantly. So this is the path from 30 days to 30 seconds. Initially, mass market adoption to the broader market will be slow because most buyers, less early adopters and techies, will just want to buy a cool house. But a very small percentage of the rehab budget of our homes will be spent to install Horizon Core and Horizon Deed. So installing the technology won't significantly affect our margins. As we sell houses with this technology, we are creating nodes on our chain. Network effects. Hundreds of homes per year are going to start being added to the network. I think that our real estate community will more rapidly adopt this technology. We can offer proper products and services that will help speed up the transactions. For the people in our real estate investment community, these things should be more rapidly adopted. Rapid appraisals, instant title, fractionalized ownership, tokenizing ownership, all sorts of things that will help the real estate investment community be able to move value back and forth between wholesalers, retailers, flippers, and renters. Marketplace. To get to mainstream, the key will be the marketplace. So as we start to work with motivated sellers, our real estate investment community and our buyers will be our core base that we will be able to deploy, test, and debug until we have a market-ready product. Design app. By bringing in a marketplace so that we offer this out to vendors, to create their applications and services on the marketplace that can immediately help people. So there will be an easy and frictionless app where if John needs a move, he can go into the marketplace after purchasing the property, and he can instantly order moving services to coordinate the moving. He might decide that he wants to do a renovation, so he can connect with the design app, and let's say he wants to add on an addition. The design app can automatically be able to design plans and specs and specifications for the addition, and he'll be able to see it in real time through our integration with Metaverse. Metaverse. Apple and Meta are spending billions to build out this space. We need to be there. So the marketplace and Metaverse, I believe, will be the vehicle that launches this to where it could be a trillion-dollar venture. Let's think about it. Who do you think might be interested in this product? Once the system is refined, would it be a useful product for iBuyers, home builders, developers, and property managers? You can reduce the closing time from 30 days to 30 seconds. You can make transactions less expensive. I'm estimating that the typical transaction costs between 5 and 10% of the transaction. Using the Domus platform, it will likely cost 1 to 2%. Our buyers will eventually become sellers. Are they going to sell this property the traditional route now that they're on-chain? Or are they going to come back through the marketplace to sell the property cheaper and faster? Or maybe they don't want to sell. They could go to the mortgage app and get instant financing options. Or they could fractionalize their Domus deed and sell 20% of their equity. This marketplace has the potential to unlock $400 trillion of locked-up capital and move it back and forth around the world instantly. What happens when you open that pipe's cap? The people at the base of that pipe, when the equity starts pouring out with products and services in hand, may find themselves unreasonably rich. By no means will this be easy. Many middlemen will fight progress. People resist change. Governments will be slow to adopt new technology. But I believe on the other end of this fight, there is a client that wants faster and cheaper real estate transactions. I believe the illiquid walls surrounding the equity or real-world assets are ready to be penetrated. I believe we can attract a talented team of individuals who will buy into the mission of modernizing the real estate market to clear this wall. Randy Pausch's last lecture, he stated, "The brick walls are there for a reason. The brick walls are not there to keep us out. The brick walls are there to give us a chance to show how badly we want something. Because the brick walls are there to stop the people who don't want it badly enough. They're there to stop the other people.